Good morning or afternoon. I'm so late. Good afternoon. I normally don't wait for people to get in and start talking, so I guess I'll give it like 2 more seconds and then I'll be in. All right. So today I would like to be talking about the situation that happened on the Red Line train in Chicago. Most of you guys know that the situation would happen, but me doing my research, I found out that a lady, hey, I know, right? I learned that a young lady was on a train when she were with her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend when she decided that she didn't want to be with him anymore. So what happened was he asked her if she wanted to have his child or something about a child, and she said no, and he began to stab her, and he basically killed her in front of everybody on the train. My thing is, a lot of people, when I was reading comments and everything that they was going on, everything that they were saying, my thing is that it could have been you, it could have been me, and not saying that we could have been the victim, the one that got stabbed, but we could have been the one doing the stabbing. So, how many times have you blacked out in your relationship when your boyfriend or your girlfriend told you no for something, and you blacked out and you began to argue, or you began to curse them out, or you began to scream or hit, so many times. I mean, you might not have gotten so physical where you pulled out an object like a knife or a gun to attack them, but how many times have we got to the point where we're like, okay, I'm sick of this. Like, if nobody can't have you, like, if I can't have you, can't nobody have you. And it's been times where even in my relationship, when I was just dating, I would get to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm sick of you treating me this way, or I'm sick of this, and I would lash out, and I would hit, and I would scream, and I would kick, and I would like fight, and who's to say that I couldn't have been the one getting put in handcuffs for doing the same thing that they did. So we lose ourselves in saying, okay, they killed somebody, but you could have been the same one. You could have been the victim, and you could have been the person that actually got killed. And what really saddens my heart is not only just one person's life got taken, but two. The girl, she lost her family. Her family don't have her anymore. And then he is going to get taken away and, put in jail, for it could be life. So his life is over as well. So instead of judging, and instead of saying, he needs to get death penalty, he needs to, just be put away forever, we need to love on people, and we need to pray for them, because the same demonic forces that took over his mind, and the same demonic forces and attacks that allowed him to kill someone and allow him to snap and just black out like that, it's the same demonic forces that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. Just because you haven't killed anybody doesn't mean that you don't deal with what he went through or what he's going through. So just because you haven't snapped to that point, that's good. That's grace. And for you to say, oh, he needs death and he needs to get put away forever, that's unfair. Instead of putting your mouth on the situation, I believe that we need to pray for him, and we need to pray for her family. We need to come together, and pray, because it could have been us. It could have been me. It could have been you. And I believe that even in these situations and times like this, just really knowing who God called you to be will basically kill all of that. If I know what I knew, what I know now, if I knew back then, I would have been a total different person. I wouldn't have been that Britney that lashed out and killed somebody, or I wouldn't have been that Britney that lashed out, not killed somebody, but hurt somebody, or, hit somebody or cursed them out because they made me angry. It's been times where people told me, okay, yeah, I don't want to be with you anymore because you seem kind of crazy. And I'm like, crazy? I'm not crazy. And then I begin to act crazy. How many of us do that? We do that on a day-to-day basis if you're not sane and have that self-control. And it's funny because yesterday in my evangelism class, we were talking about the fruits of the Spirit, and love, joy, long-suffering, patience, kindness, all of that we need on a day-to-day basis. If you had self-control, if you had temperance, if you had that, would you lash out and curse somebody out because they told you no? If you had temperance, would you allow your situation to escalate because somebody told you no, or because you didn't agree with something that somebody said. If you had temperance and long suffering, would you allow your situation or what you could see, going on right in front of you to lash out and threaten somebody's life and take their life? So even having the fruits of the spirit, even having those in our day-to-day life and using that's basically God's guide for us, for our lives, to say, okay, this is what I want you guys to be. This is how I want you to live your life. This is what I expect of you, because this is all the fruits of the spirit is what he is. So if we are striving day to day to be like him and to be more like him and to have and to have full coverings and full love and everything, and trying to be like him day to day, then the fruits of the spirit is to be applied to our lives, because that is him. That's who he is. That God is love. God is gentle. God is meekness. God is faith. God is everything. So if we were to live those life, we wouldn't have to worry about tragic situations like that. We wouldn't have to worry about not being able to have self-control or temperance because somebody told us no. We wouldn't have like low self-esteem or putting somebody above you. For you to idolize your boyfriend or your girlfriend and say, you know what, they're just everything and I can't see my life without them, and I would kill anybody if they ever touch them, and I would kill for them, and I will die, and all of this crazy stuff, then what are you saying about God? What is your relationship with God? Because God didn't design us to kill for your boyfriend, and he didn't design us to die for their sake, So on a day, yes. So on a day-to-day life, and yes, on our day-to-day life, I sit here and I just watch stuff, because people are so quick to judge others and say, you know what, they were wrong, they should die, and they should do all of this stuff. And I'm just like, it could have been me. It could have been you. One day, my husband and I, we were driving down the street coming from church, and we see this girl sitting on top of this man's car. So initially I wanted to laugh, like, what in the world is going on? And the police was surrounding the car, because I'm assuming she didn't want to get off because she didn't want him to go. And they're in the middle of the street, like in the middle of the street, like, I mean, a 3-lane street. Like, it's crazy, like traffic coming in and out, everything. And I'm assuming that she didn't want him to take off or leave. So she's sitting on top of the car so he couldn't leave. The police is like trying to talk to her and tell her to get off the car, but she wouldn't. So, when you look at stuff like that, you like, oh my gosh, like, what in the world, she crazy, this and the other. But it could have been me. I could have been doing the same thing. It could have been you. You could have been doing the same thing, because if you didn't have the temperance and the even having the fruits of the spirit, it will lead you into doing crazy things out of your ordinary life. And that's why a lot of people, they sit here and they say, oh, well, I'm good. I don't need this, and I don't need God, or I don't need to know more about him. Me and him got this connection. He knows my heart. He knows who I am. If you haven't got deliverance from your past, if you haven't got deliverance from the things that happened to you, from anger, from even the demons that your parents carried that necessarily might not show up in your life, you need to, because you need him. Regardless to what you've been through, regardless to what you've seen, you're going to always need God. God is going to always be there for us to need. It's no purpose of him being on this earth without us needing him. So to just top all this off, I just wanted to let people know, like, don't be so quick to say, okay, yeah, that happened to her. That's bogus. He needs life in jail. He needs to, life without parole, all of this stuff, because it could have been you. Yes, it surely could have been you. It could have been me, living in life without Christ. It could have been us. So instead of focusing on bashing people and focusing on condemning them, pray for them. That's what the world needs. We need prayer. And I see a lot of people fall, like a lot of gospel artists, a lot of people just, in Christ that's falling, pastors sleeping with their congregation, all of that stuff, they fall, and people, all they want to do is talk about them. No, pray for them. Pray for him. I would never put my mouth on a situation that I have not prayed for. If I see a pastor slipping and falling into sin, I might talk to my husband about it, but I would never put my mouth on it and say, oh, they just backsliding all the way back and it ain't no saving them. They just gone. They might as well just kill themselves because they're going to hell anyway. Like, no, pray for them. Pray for them, because all through the gospel, Jesus showed compassion to the ones that was lost and to the ones that was out there, doing things that they shouldn't have been doing. He showed compassion, and that's what he is. If we want to be like him, read his word and get that compassion, get the fruits of the Spirit, get those things that he has supplied us with, and use them, apply them to your life. So, yeah, with us saying all of that, I just wanted to encourage you guys to pray for everybody and to know that it could have been you. It could have been me. And so instead of bashing people and condemning them, let's pray for them. Love you guys. See you later.